Let me tell you something. When you take the limits off your mindset, you're going to see movement. When you take the limits off your mindset, you're going to see momentum. When you take the limits off your mindset, you're going to see more. Welcome to the place where visionaries, leaders, and kingdom builders come when you are in the alley, as I help you discover the keys to unlock your next level of clarity, strategy, and confidence. I'm Dr. LaTanya. Welcome back to my channel. It's Dr. LaTanya Moore, here to help you discover the keys when you're ready to unlock your next level. Visionary, are you ready? We're diving into some things on today that I hope you're excited about already. But let me tell you exactly what it is. Well, for the first time on my YouTube channel, I am doing a series. I've never done a series before, but I feel strongly that this is what God is calling me to do. And the reason why is because there's some things that we just need to go ahead and get out the way, okay? As visionaries, as leaders, as kingdom builders and kingdom CEOs, some things have got to go. Y'all ready? Let's go. As I have been planning for a very special event that is coming up, God has been speaking to me a lot about some areas that kingdom visionaries often experience. And it's so interesting because as kingdom visionaries, leaders, and CEOs, what you really desire is to elevate, right? You desire to move into your next level. You desire to step into the things that He has for you. You desire to conquer, right? Whatever it is that He is calling you to do next. And oftentimes when you begin to step into it, you also step into some restrictions. Oh my God. As if the warfare wasn't enough, you began to step into some restrictions. And so here's the thing though, because some of these restrictions are restrictions that you may have placed on yourself. Oh my God. Don't worry. I promise there's grace for that. We're going to be talking through unrestricted and really how to become unrestricted and how to take the limits off of 5 areas. That first area is your mindset. That second area is your identity. The third area is your authenticity. The fourth area, your connections. And the fifth area, your paydays, okay? Or your finances. Because listen, we definitely don't need to be restricted in any of these areas. And so today we're going to cover an unrestricted mindset, how to take the limits off your mindset. Mindset is so important. And we know as visionaries, leaders, and kingdom builders that we really can't move into that next level, especially if we're in the alley, not to be confused with the valley. Especially if you're in the alley, you cannot have a mindset that is not aligned for more. You cannot have a mindset that is not aligned for movement. Your mindset has to be free for you to move into the freedom of your next level. And so I really want to think about how important it is to have a mindset that allows you to see things differently, to hear things differently, right? To put on your spiritual eyes, to put on your spiritual ears and move into the things that God is showing you. Oh my goodness. I've talked to so many people who I work with personally, and I begin to assess where their mindset is right now. Is their mindset aligned with the next level, and what is holding them back? And I really like to go back to those things because it's so important to actually dig up, right? I love digging some stuff up. That is my therapy brain all day. I love to go find the root of the thing and then dig up the root. Why? Because otherwise you're going to see fruit that isn't good. And so you want to make sure that your roots are really connected to the source, that they're being nurtured, that they're being watered, and that they are growing into the fruit that you really desire. So we're going to jump into 3 ways to take the limits off your mindset. You ready? Number 1, the first way that you're going to take the limits off your mindset is you're going to focus your mind on all things above. Yep. Period. You're going to focus your mind on all things above. What does that mean? Colossians 3:2 tells us to fix our minds on all things above and not on earthly things. Well, as visionaries, especially kingdom visionaries, it is so important not to look at what we see as face value, to actually see things in the spirit realm, to actually see what God sees, right? Listen, I always say, and the Bible says too, that my thoughts are not his thoughts. His thoughts are not my thoughts, and his ways are not my ways. And if that is the case, then when you focus your mindset on all things above, even when you wake up in the morning, you're going to think differently. Even when you're moving in the alley, you're going to think differently. You're going to move differently. So being able to focus on all things above means that you're setting aside the time, especially early. And I love to do this in the morning because it shifts your thought patterns. It shifts your thinking early. Sometimes I wake up with a full to-do list, or I wake up with all the things that God has, called me to do. And oftentimes that requires that you take some things on, right? And sometimes we can often take on what is in our strength and outside of our strength. Well, I want to take on his strength. And in order for me to do that, that means I have to take on his thoughts. So you want to focus your mindset on all things above. When you first wake up in the morning, or even when you are presented with challenges, you want to focus your mind above. That is going to help to transform. That is going to help to renew your mindset. So do that as much as possible every single day. The second thing that you're going to do, you're going to find the limiting beliefs. Ooh, child, we don't like to do that. What is it that is limiting? What thoughts are you having in your mind that are limiting you? Especially when it is time to move into the next level. Sometimes your mind can begin to question things, your mind can begin to wonder, and you want to make sure that you're solid in this process. And so when you actually find, that means go searching for the limiting beliefs, you want to begin to ask yourself, what thought am I having that is limiting? What am I thinking that is holding this process back? What is it that I come into agreement with that is actually cutting things off or delaying this process? Those could all be limiting beliefs. What do you want to do instead? You want to rewrite the story. If you and when you find a limiting belief, you want to rewrite the story. So let's just say this is one that I hear often. The limiting belief is that you don't have any help. Yep, it feels like reality, but it's also a limiting belief, because the more that you limit yourself and feel like I don't have any help, you won't have any help. Why? Because you haven't prepared for the help. But when you begin to take the limits off and you begin to rewrite the story and you start to say, help is coming. Yep, my destiny helpers are coming. My solutions are coming. My employees are coming. My volunteers are coming. When you start to say that and you rewrite that story, that limited belief goes away and you begin to believe bigger, okay? And as you believe bigger, you're going to see bigger. So then you start to actually prepare. Now, if you're telling yourself that the destiny helpers are coming and the volunteers are coming, that means you are preparing, hopefully, for them to come. And so one of the things that you want to do is really rewrite those narratives and rewrite those stories so that you can actually see what God said. Let's keep going. Because number 3 is so important. Here's the reason why. This is the reason why I think vision is like golden, okay? I'm so grateful that God speaks to me in vision, and he can speak to you in vision as well. Close your eyes. Just begin to ask God to show you some things. He'll show you. The third thing that you're going to do to take the limits off your mindset is to foresee what God is doing. You're going to foresee. That means that not only will you have the insight of what is happening now and going deep there, but you're going to have the foresight of not only what's happening now, but what is happening next. Yes, when you begin to foresee what God is doing next, you're able to prepare your mind, you're able to come into agreement, you're able to shift some things, and you're able to move accordingly. Let me tell you something. When you take the limits off your mindset, you're going to see movement. When you take the limits off your mindset, you're going to see momentum. When you take the limits off your mindset, you're going to see more. and it all belongs to you. With an unrestricted mindset, you don't see opposition, you see opportunity. With an unrestricted mindset, you do not see a wall, you see a hallway. Because when you see that wall, you're like, okay, how do I get around this? Do I need to cut a hole here? How am I going to get through this? Do I need to go around this way? You begin to shift some things, right? Your vantage point is completely different than other people because your mindset has no limitations and no restrictions. Let me tell you, it is time to take the limits off. No more restrictions. Nothing else holding you back. Nothing else placing a delay on you. There is a demand on your life. And if you're going to move in that demand, then that means these limits, okay, have to be gone. So listen, here's what we're going to do. You're going to follow all these steps and you're going to meet me in Dallas, okay? Because this is exactly what we're going to do at Unrestricted Conference. Can I just extend this exclusive invitation to you to the Unrestricted Conference? Now, normally I'll work with men and women, but fellas, this is for the ladies only. This is for female visionaries, leaders, and kingdom builders who are ready to move into that next dimension, unrestricted. We're taking the limits off. We're going to release all of the limitations that have been on you. We're going to replenish every one of those areas with practical tips and knowledge. And we are going to reimagine what life is like without those restrictions and plan for it. I'm so excited because one thing I know is that when we come together, it is going to be explosive. Will you join me? I'm going to leave the link to the Unrestricted Conference in the description. And I want you to check it out. I want you to go ahead and secure your seat because what's going to happen is you're going to start to see a shift in your mindset, which is then going to shift you into movement. Listen, I want to remind you too that you got the keys. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. Why? Because this series is going to be monumental. Let me tell you something. By the end of these 5 unrestricted areas, you're going to be walking in so much freedom. Woo! Make sure you leave a comment and let me know how it blessed you, as well as sharing this with another visionary that you know. Okay? Listen, we're going for all things that belong to us, and we're taking the limits off. Remember, you got the keys.